you want me to talk about something that has me genuinely fired up right now. We are less than a month away from opening day, and the Toronto Blue Jays are walking into 2026 looking like a completely different team than what we saw even a year ago. And I don't mean that loosely. I mean the roster construction, the depth, the options that John Schneider has at his disposal. It's legitimately exciting in a way that Blue Jays baseball hasn't felt in a while. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Bo Bichette is gone. He's a New York Met now, and for the first time since 2019, he will not be in the Toronto lineup on opening day. That stings a little if you're a Jays fan who grew up watching him develop into one of the better shortstops in the American League. But here's the thing, and I think some people are sleeping on this. Andrés Giménez is not a downgrade in the way people are framing it. This guy is a former Gold Glove winner. He can rake, he plays elite defense, and most importantly, he gives the Blue Jays a different kind of shortstop, one who might be more consistent defensively than Bichette was at his peak. Is he the same hitter? No. But is this team worse for having him? I genuinely don't think so. And then you've got Ernie Clement sliding into second, which makes sense because Clement is one of those guys who just shows up and plays winning baseball. He doesn't always show up in the box score, but he handles his business. The Giménez and Clement combination up the middle is actually pretty solid, and the fact that they're interchangeable depending on what Schneider needs gives the manager some real flexibility. Now let me get into the lineup the way I'm projecting it, and then we're going to spend some time on the pitching because honestly that's where this conversation gets really interesting. At first base, you have Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and I don't think I need to spend too much time here. He's one of the best hitters in baseball. Full stop. If he stays healthy and locks in the way he's capable of, he's an MVP candidate again, and the engine that drives everything offensively for this club. Second base is Ernie Clement. Shortstop is Giménez stepping into that everyday role. Third base goes to Kazuma Okamoto, and I'm really curious to see how his transition continues to develop at the major league level. The power is real. The question marks are there too, but I think he's going to surprise people this year. In left field, you've got Nathan Lukes, which is a projection that might raise some eyebrows, but it makes sense given the depth of this roster. Center field belongs to Dalton Varsho, who is an above-average defender and someone who can get on base and give the pitching staff a breather when they need it. Right field is where it gets fun, Addison Barger, and if you watch the postseason, you know exactly why I'm putting him in the field. What he did defensively while Springer was dealing with injuries was a clinic. He proved he belongs out there, and I think the best thing for this team is to have him starting in right and keeping Springer as the designated hitter to manage his health over the course of a long season. So Springer at DH, Kirk behind the plate. Alejandro Kirk is underrated. I'll say it every time. He doesn't get enough credit for what he does handling a pitching staff, and with the arms Toronto is rolling out this year, having a catcher who can manage a game is crucial. Okay? Let's talk pitching, because this is where the Blue Jays offseason turned from interesting to genuinely elite. Dylan Cease, Cody Ponce. Those two names alone changed the entire complexion of this rotation. Cease just wrapped up his 5th consecutive season with at least 214 strikeouts. 5th consecutive season. The consistency is almost absurd. He's a proven, battle-tested arm who has been in big spots before and knows how to handle them. Bringing him to Toronto is a massive acquisition. Cody Ponce coming over after winning KBO MVP is a fascinating addition. There's always a transition period when a pitcher comes from the KBO, but the stuff is real and the pedigree is there. He's going to have people talking by the end of April. Then you layer in Shane Bieber, who wasn't even on this roster a year ago. When healthy, Bieber is one of the best pitchers in baseball. Command, pitch sequencing, ability to eat innings. He checks every box. And then there's Yesavage. I keep coming back to Yesavage because he might be the most interesting pitcher on this staff right now. Rookie, yes. But nothing about his trajectory has been typical. In the postseason, the only pitcher who topped him in strikeouts was Blake Snell, and Yesavage was doing it in significantly fewer innings. That's not luck. That's not a fluke. That's a legitimate weapon. So the opening day starter question is genuinely one of the most interesting decisions John Schneider has to make. and I think it comes down to Yesavage and Cease. It's rare that a manager would hand a rookie the ball on opening day, but Schneider might look at what Yesavage did in October and decide that this kid has already proven he can handle a moment. At the same time, Cease has done this before. He's made opening day starts. He knows what that energy feels like and how to channel it. I genuinely don't know which way Schneider goes, and honestly, I don't think you can make a wrong decision here. Either of those guys taking the mound on March 27 against the Athletics at Rogers Center is a statement. Either of them signals that this team is not messing around in 2026. And here's what I keep coming back to when I look at this roster from top to bottom. The depth is real. The lineup doesn't have a soft spot until you get pretty deep into it. The rotation has 4 legitimate arms that weren't even options for Jose Barrios to share a staff with a year ago. The bullpen has options. The versatility in the infield with Jimenez and Clement being interchangeable, with Barger being able to slide around. This is a roster built for October in a way that Toronto hasn't had in years. People are going to spend the next month debating who the opening day starter is going to be, and that's a great problem to have, because a year ago, that answer was basically decided before spring training started. Now you've got genuine debate, genuine competition, guys pushing each other in camp to earn a spot in the rotation order. If Vlad stays healthy, if Jimenez hits the way he's capable of, if Yesavage takes that next step, if Bieber is fully right, this team is dangerous, like genuinely dangerous, not in a let's see what happens way, in a they're going to be right there in October kind of way. March 27 cannot get here fast enough. The Blue Jays are back, and I think 2026 is going to remind a lot of people why this fan base is one of the loudest and most passionate in baseball. Opening day is almost here. Let's go.